We're just about to go live on Facebook. So every day I do something in the matrix energetics world, in the peace process world, and the helping people heal and transform stuff that they want to change. And I get asked sometimes, like, how does this work? How does this work? And it kind of reminds me of when I first started out with this sort of stuff. I'd heard about it, this type of healing and transformation stuff, and I studied it so hard and tried to figure it out. But then something happened, and I realized it was really quite different. So for you today, what I'd love to see you do is test something for yourself. By that I mean, check your neck, check your shoulders, check your body, how it moves, bend it forwards, bend it backwards. Really move around, walk around, and notice what you notice. Notice how it's going. And if you have any aches and pains, notice that. If you have any areas that are working well, notice that. Notice how well you move through space. If there's something that's a little tight, or things like that. You can also notice how the world looks to you, like when you're looking out, so you can tell if you're a little taller or not after this session. Because what I noticed is, doing this work for, I guess, the last 33 years of developing and studying and learning a bunch of cool stuff. And then ever since around 2000, the medical intuitive work, and 2009, the matrix energetics work, and then more recently, the peace process and some of these other energetic and healing and transformation techniques. What I've noticed is my body has gotten better. So, I do a ton of Qigong, wisdom healing Qigong. And some of the movements are tougher to do than other ones. And so what I've noticed is, as I've been doing these energetic techniques and working on myself, and I just did my daily meditation stuff that I use, what I noticed doing that over the years is that my body moves better. It feels better. And what we have is, of course, our bodies right in front of us, or with us, and we can test things. We can use our bodies as an instrument to feel stuff and to notice what's different in our world. If a shoulder goes from here to here after a session, that's pretty cool, right? What I've noticed is, not only did that change, other stuff has changed as well. We just might not have tested it yet. We might not have noticed it. Relationships I've noticed heal after stuff. I had a lady that told me that her husband no longer yelled at her after her shoulder and her other parts of her body were feeling better coming to see me. So I didn't work on her husband at that time. Later she sent him to me, but he quit interacting with her the same way after she changed a shoulder. So what you can do is notice what you notice right now, and then notice what you notice that's different right now, and also over the day and over the days. And it's easy to, what I call, autocorrect. And by that I mean, it's easy to miss a miracle and to just think, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's kind of strange. And not realize that it might have been from our interaction, this matrix energetics, this peace process, these other techniques that I'm using. And so, we did a study group. We were study group leaders, Jen and I, for matrix energetics for many years, and we still are. We just haven't done an actual study group in a while. But people would come to me and say, hey, you know what, I took the class and it's kind of cool, but it's really not doing much for me. It doesn't really change much. So what I started doing was having them test things, test their shoulders, their necks, their backs, and move around and see how it was. And then to notice how life has been before matrix energetics, and then how life is afterwards. Even if they can't say, oh, absolutely, it was because of matrix energetics. If life is different, if you're here and now you're here, and the difference was something happened here, some matrix energetics, or if you watched some of these videos, or you kind of interacted with me or this work, then you might just kind of count that as a miracle and go, wow, that's different, that's different, that's different, that's different, and start to notice. Because I think it's really easy to miss miracles and to just think it's nothing. I had a lady that came to see me because her knees were hurting and she wanted to run again. And she interacted with me. We did a session, and her back felt warmer. She felt a little I think she said like kind of drunk feeling, kind of happy and lighter and looser. And I said, well, how are your knees? And she said, well, they don't hurt right now. And so then weeks went by and I hadn't heard from her. So I emailed her and said, hey, how's it going? And she goes, oh, you know what? It didn't really do much for me. I didn't really feel much of a thing. There wasn't much change. And I said, well, how are your knees? And she said, oh, yeah, my knees haven't been hurting and I'm back to running. And it's kind of funny because that's what she wanted. But because the interaction with me didn't seem like I was working on her knees, she didn't put it together and say, oh, it was because of that. So with this work, a lot of my videos might seem like I'm rambling on and I'm just talking and doing stuff. And did he do anything? And why doesn't he actually do something? And, why don't you tell us how to do this thing? And, I don't know if this really worked and da-da-da-da-da. Or I don't even think you did anything. It's because you're actually in a matrix energetic state right now. So if I tried to explain the physics that might explain this, or the ideas around why it works, or what happens, or what we think is happening, that wouldn't change your life, That wouldn't change your life. But you are actually in a matrix energetic state right now. And even with me rambling on and talking and just doing stuff, you can be different right now from the chair you're sitting in right now. And so I can talk more about like how this works, but ultimately we don't know how it works. Kind of like I don't know how Facebook Live works, and I can be talking and people can be seeing me all over the world right now live, and I'm on a wireless device. It's like, how is that possible? I don't know how that works. The thing is, though, I know how to use it. And so with this matrix energetics, it's kind of like that. So just hang out for a bit. Yeah. So if you didn't need to know how this worked, what might you notice now? All right. So what you can do, if you like, is to retest yourself and test your neck, test your shoulders, walk around, see how your feet are on the ground right now. See if they're different when they're on the ground now. See if you feel different. See if how the world looks to you. Are you does it seem like you're maybe a little taller or not? See how the world feels to you. See what the colors look like to you. Just kind of notice what you notice, and if you like, you can notice what's different. And then what's cool is you could notice what's different in your life today. Like, are people different? Are they treating you differently? Is your finances, are they different? Are you noticing some things that could be called synchronicity, but maybe you might want to call them a miracle? Wow, that's weird. That guy doesn't treat me like that. Wow, that's interesting. That was much easier than I thought it would go. Just you might want to notice what you notice. And if you didn't have to come up with a judgment of like, oh, it was because we did this session or not, if you didn't have to attribute it to anything, would you at least notice that something might be different? Because when you're watching these videos, whether I'm talking and I don't seem to be doing any energetic work or not, you're actually in a matrix energetic session. Because matrix energetics is not about doing something. It's really quite different. And if I were just to tell you about it, you would sort of think you either got it or didn't got it in your mind, but that doesn't really help you, right? It's like you're in it in a different way. There you go. So what you might want to do is notice what's happening in your body right now. Is there something happening in your body? You've got a body. You have access to feeling it. You can notice it. And you can just kind of do a scan head to toe and go, okay, what is happening in your body? Yeah. And then whether I'm rambling on or talking or just kind of not seeming to do anything or telling stories, you might want to notice what's happening in you. Yeah. All right. So I'd love to hear what you notice from today, from right now. You can leave a comment if you're on Facebook Live or in YouTube, or um, email me if you're listening on the podcast. And let me know what you notice. Let me know what's different. And if you want more information or more access to these kind of videos, these sessions, these actual sessions with me, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel if that's how you're listening, or you can go to our Facebook page, Beyond Limits with Ralph Havens, and just like that, and that should pop up in your Facebook. And there's a way to be on my list, because I do these every day in different ways. Some of them are in different ways. And if you want that, you can come up here and go to a link. There should be a link up here if it's on YouTube later, and join us. And I've got some free stuff up here for you if you want to check it out. It's really cool things that I use, something that I use every single day that helps actually supercharge my matrix energetics. So I will see you all tomorrow, and hope you guys are getting ready for a great Happy New Year. And I'd love to hear what you notice. All right. This is Ralph Havens, and go up here to ralphhavens.com/enlighten up, and I've got some cool stuff for you, and you can join us every single day. All right. Bye now.